all to the third edition of Cineast International Film Festival of India, SIFI 2021. SIFI 2021 is the world's first 7-day hybrid film festival organized by educational institutes of two countries, Media School of Delhi Metropolitan Education, Delhi NCR, India, in association with School of Communication and Creative Arts, Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia. The theme of SIFI 2021 is Cinematic Rejuvenation, #Cinema 2021. I welcome you all to the students panel discussion on the topic OTT media consumption by Indian youth. SIFI is being organized in a hybrid mode to serve as a beneficial platform for beholding the new methods of viewing and studying the cinema during the challenging times of the pandemic. The first edition of SIFI was held in April 2019, and the second edition was organized in December 2020. It is our privilege to be associated with Deakin University during the previous editions of our film festival as well. It is a proud moment for me to mention here that SIFI 2021 has received the submission of 3,130 films from 111 countries. SIFI 2021 brings 21 sessions with 70 experts, 11 panel discussions, 2 curated sessions, 2 master classes, 2 workshops, 2 special sessions, and 2 special segments. Mr. Tigmanshu Dhulia, National Award winner, film director from Bollywood, is the festival ambassador for SIFI 2021. We are extremely thankful for his constant support. The festival partners of SIFI are Cover Drive Productions, a Noida-based production house; Vigyan Prasad, the organizer of National Science Film Festival of India (NSFFI), International Science Film Festival of India (ISFFI), and India International Science Festival (IISF), CMS Vatavaran Environment and Wildlife Film Festival and Forum, Kids Cinema 2020, and Online International Children's Film Festival, Culture Cinema, a concept-based film festival aimed at celebrating world cultures, We Care Film Festival for promoting and exhibiting films on disability, Delhi International Film Festival DIFF for screening films amidst heightening deliberations on world cinema. Partners from Australia are Asian Media and Culture Studies Network, Australia-India Film Practitioners and Researchers Network. Institutional partners are Global Media Educational Council, GMEC, an international platform of media educators and researchers, Indian Documentary Producers Association, IDPA, and Association of Documentary Filmmakers, Indian Academy of Shorts, IAS, an institution for imparting craftsmanship of filmmaking through small capsules, and New Film Foundation. Our media partner are APN News, a fast-paced current affairs web panel, The Policy Times, an international platform for unfolding policy and governance issues, and Hindi Gaurav, Australia's first Hindi newspaper. SIFI 2021 is powered by SPARK, the Student Council of DME Media School. Journalism at DME is the official newsletter of DME Media School. This fortnightly publication covers all the major activities happening in and out of the campus. It is a student-centric newsletter carried out entirely by them under the supervision of faculty members. DME TV is the official YouTube channel of DME, where you can find the playlist related to all the sessions, lecture series, film festival, and conferences. It gives me immense pleasure to announce that for various sessions, we will go live on our official Facebook page of DME. For more information, follow us on our social media handles. Links are being given in the chat box. Today, we will be screening 41 films. You can watch all the films being screened on our website, sifi.dme.ac.in. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. Amrish Saxena, Festival Director and Dean DME Media School, to kindly give the opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Khushi. So obviously, खुशी की बात है कि हम लोग आज दूसरे दिन की शुरुआत इतने अच्छे तरीके से कर रहे हैं. And there can be nothing better than starting a day with a session with students. because ultimately, as earlier also, I have been reiterating this that any activity which is happening in an educational institution has to be steered by the students. So that is how last year we included this kind of session wherein students themselves are involved in a discussion which is very pertinent to the theme or the nature of the film festival. So this year, obviously, the developments which have happened for the last 2 years or so, the way the OTT has grown during this Corona period, and we all are exposed too much to the content which are there on OTT. Also the films and all, because the theaters have been mostly closed, and now we are glued to this medium which is providing us very diverse contents, right from feature films to web series to documentaries. Everything is available, and not only the Indian contents are available, but the foreign contents, the contents from those countries which earlier was unheard of, will ever be available like this, wherein we are sitting in the drawing room and we are having that access, all those kind of content. So scenario has completely changed, and all kind of people, all age group of people are in a habit of watching these programs. But certainly for the students, this is a medium wherein they are mostly watching the contents. So, and since this whole broadcasting or telecasting has shifted to the internet from the satellite, so this becomes convenient in terms of access, in terms of availability, in terms of the quality of the transmission. So, I mean, we started with this antenna age, and now we are to this OTT age. So there's a lot of transformation has happened in India as far as the entertainment content is concerned. We discuss these subjects from different perspectives. From the commercial angle, from the production angle, but then the most important are the viewers, how they perceive the whole thing, how they experience this kind of viewing. So that is how the students, since they are the major chunk of the people who are watching these OTT contents, so they have their own perception, they have their own points of appreciation, points of apprehensions and all. So in this session, we are looking forward to listening to these young students as to how they analyze this whole platform content-wise, viewing-wise and all. So we are waiting to listen to all these students. So I'll stop here and giving you the platform back to you, Khushi.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, this panel discussion is all about media, OTT media consumption by Indian youth. The session is being moderated by Ms. Kirti Mathur, a second-year media student at Delhi Metropolitan Education, has a nose for reading and writing articles and posts. Apart from this, she enjoys exploring different genres of short movies and documentaries. She also likes writing movie reviews and wishes to work in the fields relating writing, editing, and teaching. Our panelists are Mr. Aryan Kutti, Mr. Nitin Gupta, Ms. Swastika Mishra, and Ms. Tanishka Tiwari, who are second-year student pursuing Bachelors of Journalism and Mass Communication at Delhi Metropolitan Education. Aryan Kutti has interest in animation as well as in Japanese culture. He wants to work as a voiceover artist in foreign language. Our second panelist, Mr. Nitin Gupta, is a gamer and a huge movie buff. Thriller, crime, and sci-fi is what he consumes on a daily basis. His favorite movies and series are Donnie Darko, Masan, Dexter, and many more. He aspires to become a storyteller one day and project his thoughts and emotions through the camera. Our third panelist, Ms. Swastika Mishra, is passionate about writing and she enjoys reading stuff about human psychology. In addition to watching sitcoms, she is fascinated by thriller plots. While watching movies or series, she is always trying to comprehend the deep meaning of the character's behavior. Our final panelist, Ms. Tanishka Tiwari, wants to get into marketing and advertising sector. She has a keen eye for cinema, mainly comedy and thriller. She loves to dig deep into the movies she watches by breaking down what goes behind the screen. She also enjoys writing short movies every now and then. Now, I request Ms. Kirti Mathur, our moderator, to take the session forward. Over to you,
Thanks a
Kirti.
lot, Khushi. And talking about the topic, which is OTT media consumption by Indian youth, firstly, I'd like to talk about what OTT platforms are. So OTT stands for over the top platform where we can, short film directors, movie producers can create films, content, video, audio content, and stream their content on such platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Hotstar, Voot, etc. And people like us who are consuming these content can easily access this by installing applications and getting easy access to internet. And that's how two different parties can connect with each other. One will be streaming their content and the other party, which is us, will be consuming the content. So that's how OTT media is playing its role and getting a lot of popularity in India. Indian youth is also getting interested in watching a lot of new series, movies, and international content. And as OTT media comes under Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, earlier it was part of different ministry, and now it is part of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Different regulations and different bodies are being set up to conduct how to work with OTT platforms. And talking about my personal experience of getting exposed to OTT platform, it was pretty late. Earlier, I used to consume mainstream media, which was broadcasted on televisions and cinemas. I used to watch mainstream movies with my family in theaters. And after that, when COVID struck in our country and I was forced to sit at my home, I was isolated and felt that, yeah, it's time to find some new sources of entertainment for myself. I tried gaming, pursuing my hobbies, but with time I got bored with them. And as I was a media student, I decided, yeah, I should start watching new movies or explore my side of different genres. And that's how my journey began. I remember that in July 2020, the first movie I watched on OTT after buying my subscription of Disney Hotstar was Dil Bechara, which released on July 24, 2021. And it was last movie of late actor Sushant Singh Rajput. And me and my family really anticipated to watch his last work. And with that, I started my journey. It went on and on and on. And I kept on watching different genres, different series. And currently, I recently watched Squid Game. And it turned out to be really interesting series of how survival game is being played and how different actors and international work is being dubbed into Hindi and different languages. So that's my journey of starting off with OTT content and getting exposed to OTT content. And I'm sure our panelists have similar experiences. And Tanishka, can you put light on some experiences or how you got exposed to OTT media platform?
Sure, Kriti. So it's no secret that OTT platform has taken over the world. And like everyone else, I'm also highly influenced by it. I remember growing up as a kid who watched Disney shows, you know, Victorious, Jessie, Shake It Up. I was a sucker for these. And then I slowly shifted to sitcoms like How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, Office. And as a person, as a young adult, all these shows provided something very new to me and to my curious minds. And every day I remember coming back from school, sitting at that specific time in front of my television, patiently waiting for my show. And when I discovered Netflix, I saw that not only it didn't only have my favorite shows, it had so many more sitcom recommendations, which triggered my taste. And yeah, that's how I shifted to OTT platforms, because now I didn't have to be confined to one specific place or one specific time. I could get my source of entertainment from anywhere and at any time. And of course, OTT platforms had taken over the world before COVID, but COVID has given a big boost. Like Kirti joined us on OTT due to COVID. And the COVID boost is obviously a great marketing strategy for the OTT platforms.
Very well said, Tanishka. And I completely agree with her thought. And to continue with that and to add my own perspective towards it, during COVID, I also lost someone very close, and OTT platform or media consumption gave me this path to bring like to come out of this. So it became a route for me, in order to go to this magical world where all these thoughts and minds are there, and you just can go and lost in you can get lost in there and understand how different people think, and different stories. So you get to experience all of this, and it gives you an escapism from what's your reality. So at that time I was pretty occupied with those thoughts, like I lost someone in the COVID, so those thoughts were overcoming. But because of OTT and other media consumption, it helped me get through that. And I think most of us did. And during COVID, OTT helped many of us, like to get out of it. And so this was the one aspect of it. However, like as Tanishka also said, like I was someone who used to watch a lot of movies on television, and I used to fight with my sister to get the remote, like snatch the remote out of her hand, and just put on my favorite channel to watch what I really like. But because of OTT now, it is a possibility she can enjoy her content like what she likes, and I can do also the same, like because of the smart devices we have. And so this is the beauty of OTT and other like media platforms, where you can enjoy your content and what you like. And you don't have to rely on the time foundation. You don't have to sit and wait for that 5 o'clock in the evening in order to watch your favorite show. You can just put on the OTT platform and you can watch it anytime. And so it's something which is available on the go. You have your smartphone. We have super high speed internets now, and it made possible for us to watch any sort of movie or content seamlessly. And so this was my take, from the COVID. And as Tanishka also said, it gave a huge boost to the OTT platform. It is available earlier. However, because of the COVID, the door to the other platforms were completely shut down, so they were closed. And now you have this other path. It's like a buffet. You go into that, and you get to see all of the dishes over there. So you can try this, try that. So we have different genres, we have different categories, and you can get a taste of everything over there. So whether it's comedy, thriller, drama, crime, you name it, and it's there. And my personal favorites are crime and thriller, and this is what I like to watch a lot. And so yeah, OTT is amazing, and we are getting the taste of it, and it's the future which is going to bring out more and more, and it's going to get innovated with the passing time.
Thanks a lot, Nitin. And comparing OTT as a buffet where we can have numerous number of genres and movies and series, I want Swastika to put light on how would you differentiate your experience of getting video content through traditional media and OTT media? Like, what is the main difference you faced or you observed in the content that was streamed on OTT platform from traditional media?
So I would like to talk about the time when COVID was there, and before the time COVID struck in. So if you talk about the time before that, OTT emerged, and there were not many platforms for entertainment. There were only like YouTube and television and basic cinema. So after COVID, things changed and everything was shut down. Television was rerunning the old shows, and things like people did not have any source of entertainment at that time. And Mahabharata and Ramayana also aired at that time. Youth consumed that content as well at that time. So if we talk about the time before that, imagine when we were like going for movies, we planning things out, and it wasn't just all about the movie, to be very honest. In my experience, it was also about the things we used to do, like roaming around the mall for something, for searching something for your dad, or like your sister picking up the only same burger she'll have while watching the movie. And if you talk about the experience while watching the movie, the climax that is going on, the mixed emotions you face, the smiles and tears as we unfold the plot of the story. So like the intensity and tension while going on while watching a movie there, like it's something beyond out of, I can't really explain it, but it's something that we all have experienced and we really like it. And it's somewhat therapeutic also, in my opinion, because going out with your family and watching something is a rejuvenating activity in my experience, because we all have like busy schedule and monotonous life. So it's it was a like rejuvenating thing for that. So I don't think any OTT platform like can offer this experience to its customer right now. But apparently during when COVID came in, things there were no people were finding the alternative for entertainment, so they found uh, OTT platforms. So, and also the content available on OTT platforms is like way out of the box and different from the television. Television, I think the youth doesn't like, in my experience, generally the television only showed that something cliche content only. Like OTT busted the myth or stereotypical idea that audience only like to prefer and watch things, only likes to watch their favorite actor in a macho style saving the heroine from a bunch of goons, or the rival between Sas Bahu and their manipulative relationship. And I'm sure nobody likes that, even in youth, if we talk about youngsters. And not always, um, not only adults also don't like this, because it's now cliche and it's now boring. So OTT is also bringing out content which is different and out of the box. So also, if you take an example, Panchayat. Panchayat is a series that focused on unemployment and the problems that was in a remote village. So it showcased very in a very fun and comedy way. So I really enjoyed watching that. And Made in Heaven. It also showed on it showed homosexuality and dowry problems and societal issues very like in a very subtle way. And Delhi Crime. It's a series based on the Nirbhaya case that happened in 2012. So, and also if we talk about the watching experience changed. We used to watch everything with our family or friends on television or theater, but now with the emergence of OTT, we can have Amazon watch party or Netflix watch party. You can watch anything with our friends only. So that's a good thing that's happening around, what I have witnessed and experienced.
Yeah, that's a nice observation, Swastika. As you discussed that there is a unique sense available on OTT platform and unique content being streamed on OTT platform. Aaron, what do you think are the main reasons behind the popularity of different genre, which is animation or anime? What do you think is the main reason for its popularity among youth?
Well, animation always helps children to grow and they learn so much from it. And not only animation is only for the kids, but also adults used to watch. Like we have Marvel's series, multiple series in Disney and Hotstar. But we cannot say that they don't help us. Every way, there are things which we learn not only from kids, but adults also goes from over there. Sometimes even also when go to the animation to anime, there are totally two different complete things. Animation is from western side and anime is what animation is done by the Japanese people. Anime has in India was quite booming right now because of the OTT platforms has been providing so much content over there. They're also releasing their original, like Netflix has released their Jojo Bizarre Adventure. It's quite famous right now. We have Shaman King, Record of the Ragnarok. Every single one has been present on Netflix and Amazon also. But there are also old cartoons, old animes, which we don't get to see of 1980s. There also can recollect the data from there. We can also rewatch them. That's what OTT has been providing us all these time. But we cannot say like anime is Japanese, we cannot watch it. How can we understand? There comes the subtitles and the dubbing, which you Kirti has been saying. Like because of these subtitles, we cannot understand Japanese. Subtitles are there. They help us to understand what they are saying. The English subtitles, there are French subtitles, there are German subtitles. Different languages have different subtitles. So other peoples of different languages can understand. And the dubbing help us in the way we can actually hear the audios in our languages. Like if we go, we can get English dubbing of different genres, different animes. not only English, we have different, even Hindi animes are always there, also there. And by Hindi anime, I mean the Hindi dubbing over there.
Yeah, that's right.
That's sometimes funny, but there are things that help us.
Yeah, that's right, Aryan. And coming to different genres, Nathan, which one is your favorite? Like, what do you prefer to watch the most?
So again, I like it. I like to explore everything, each like everything and anything. But to be very specific, when I open my like OTT platform, any other app, the first click will be on crime or thriller because it excites me the most. Like it gives my mind going. Okay, so because of the suspense and the story, the plot line, it's always on the edge. So when you're sitting on your chair looking at the screen, your heart is racing and you just keep on thinking, okay, what's going to happen next, how that is going to turn out. So these were the thoughts coming rushing into your head, and that gives you that adrenaline rush. So that is what I like, and that's what I chase for. And second, I would say the sci-fi, because it like it's very, you have to be, make it believable. You cannot say anything, like you cannot make random stuff, even though it is random and it is a theory, but you have to make it possible. You have to make sure that your audience believe in it, you get immersed into it, and get the similar kind of thought. So sci-fi is something which I also like. So for example, Interstellar, Christopher Nolan, absolute masterpiece. You get to enjoy the space like at your own room. Like when you're sitting inside your room, you're looking at the screen, or sitting in a theater watching it at a big screen, you're feeling like you are into the space. And second, I would say Ex Machina, which challenges the mindset of the future which is going to come to us, like what will be the future of the machines and how it's going to perform. So all these thoughts and all these perspectives, they come to our head, and it left us thinking in that zone. Okay, what's going to be happen next, or what will be the future, or what is the present right now. So these were the things which I like to do, and these are the thoughts which come to my head. And I'm always open to explore new stuff, and OTT is there to help me out. And I think most of us youngsters, we are always looking for something, to understand, because we are so curious, and to like fulfill our curiosity and fill up that appetite. OT is working like a big fish in the ocean, which gives like the full meal to us. Like it's like a full course. And that would be it. So what do you think, Tanishka? What's your favorite genre?
Just like you, I do have a keen interest for thrillers. I really like thrillers, and of course, who doesn't like a plain rom-com when you want to just binge watch? Of course, OTT has given us a lot of options, but I also think that OTT is putting theater out of business, don't you think? I mean, not exactly out of business, but earlier when a movie used to release, Fridays were the ideal release date for any movies, and we used to clear our schedule for the weekend and go to the theater as a family. But now we don't really believe in spending money going to the theater. I mean, of course, if there's some hardcore fandom, like Spider-Man has released today and I'll be catching the show, so that's my specific fandom for Marvel. But going for a normal movie, and I know that that movie will be releasing on my OTT platform within a month or two. And just like me, many people have the thought that why should we go and spend so much time, energy, and money into the theaters when we can catch that same show with the same quality at home, and for something that we have already paid for. So yeah, that's the thing that OTT has given us a comfort, but is it really helping theater? I mean, the mainstream cinema, because when you go for a movie, you're not only paying for the ticket, you're also paying for the luxury, you're paying for the extra snacks you get. But now the usage of cinema halls has decreased, especially due to COVID also. And during the COVID, everyone has gotten into the habit of catching movies or shows or any series at home. And now everyone has gotten into this comfort zone of getting their entertainment source at their own comfort, that they don't believe in stepping out.
Yeah, right, Tanishka. We are getting too lazy by watching OTT platform, and it's getting difficult for us to go out and experience the theater atmosphere. And there's also new trend going on social media, like influencers are also promoting OTT content, new trends, TikTok videos, and whatnot. And Swastik, I want your opinion on to what extent do you think that comedy shows, reality shows like Big Boss and Splitsvilla are being starcast or broadcasted on OTT platforms? And do you think that youngsters really wish to watch it?
So if I talk about the comedy content on OTT platforms which are streaming, I personally am a lover of comedy content too. I like watching them. So the comedy content which are available on Amazon Prime, if I talk about Comic Stan. Now many of us have watched it. Now it's a show uh, starring like Kenny Sebastian and Biswa Kalyan Rath and Kanan Gill. So it brings artists like them and they bring a big voice to the stage and they have to select the winner. And another show like One Mic Stand, if we talk about, uh, it's a show like they bring in celebrities and they'll try their hand in the field of stand-up comedy. So they till they two seasons are out now and they've like invited Shashi Tharoor, who is a known politician, and Faye D'Souza and Chetan Bhagat. So they were trained by an expert comedian, and they have to do the stand up comedy there. So I think it's a like very unique and out of the box idea to do something like seeing celebrities who are not of that field, and they're trying to do something different. So it's like something really amazing and you know entertaining to watch. And if we talk another show, like my personal favorite, Biswa Mast Aadmi, just like Biswa and his must accent, this show talks about the journey of Biswa and gives like a very entertainment, and I feel like watching it every time. And another show, Zakir Khan, aka Sakt Londa. So yeah, Kaksha Gyarvi and Haq Se Single. These two shows, we all know that these were very famous. And I think youth really like to like watch comedy content on OTT, because who doesn't like comedy? And like I personally really like it, and it catches the eye of the youth. Like even if we are talking to our friends or like on social media, people use it in their like daily talkings or slangs and on all. And uh, if we talk about one line like which is very famous of Zakir Khan, ऐसे तो मैं सख्त लौंडों पर यहाँ मैं पिघल गया, और एनी अदर ऑफ बिस्वा, ये कहाँ डार्क है, ये तो जिंदगी है. So like I think youth really consume and really like it, in my opinion. And if we talk about other shows which are streamed, like for youngsters, basically Big Boss and Splitsvilla, these are like different. They have a like different category, and I'm not very sure about the audience they get while they are streaming. And but these shows are crazy and another level of fan base. I've seen many friends watching Big Boss or Splitsvilla on Voot, because they show the exclusive content or behind the scenes which intrigues the fan base to watch it. So they subscribe it and watch it on Voot. So I think OTT is trying different things and they have a like plethora of content to watch. So I think that's all.
Yeah, that's right. And Aryan, which is your favorite OTT platform and why? Like, what type of content do you find, and what are the benefits you get from using that OTT platform?
Well, for me, it's Netflix. Disclaimer, I'm not going to promote anyone, but Netflix is quite easy for me, as well as there are different genres I can easily surf over and find what I like. Because there's also a safe place, I mean, comfort zone which you find you don't want to switch over. But Netflix is quite easy for me. You can search it. You have seen what you get the recommendations what you can watch. There's also top 10 popular series which you can watch. There you can always find it easy, and especially now when Netflix has dropped their ratings or dropped their pricing a lot, so it's quite easy. And for me, Netflix is the only one other than, and also MX Player is also a good one for me.
Yeah, OTT, like Netflix has decreased its price from 500 or 600 rupees to 199 per month, and which is very reasonable for us youngsters to consume and buy their subscription. And Tanishka, how do you think OTT has evolved from mainstream cinema? Like how different is the content and how different topics are being covered in OTT platforms?
Um, I can easily say that OTT content is largely different from the mainstream cinema, what we are used to. Now we are not in that Surya Vansham zone where we are only taught value of parents. We are talking about more tabooed topics. We are covering more intense topics which need to be talked about. Like Swastika said, I'm also interested in that Amazon original show called Panchayat, where we dig deep into the rooted problems of a simple village. They're not some big issues, but little problems that we should talk about. There's a show called Little Things on Netflix. It's about a normal relationship, a live-in relationship. Live-in is considered a taboo in our culture. I mean, of course, uh, our parents go crazy listening, oh, they're going to live in a live-in before marriage. But yeah, that show talks about live-in as an issue, and all the little problems related to you face in a relationship. And of course, OTT media has given way to some many amazing blooming actors. Pratik Gandhi, everyone's favorite Pratik Gandhi, had taken over the internet in year 2020. I remember seeing memes. I remember seeing his memes and his posts everywhere. Of course, he was the new favorite actor. And what I like about OTT the most is that it's giving a female a very nice. It's representing female in a very nice way. You won't now you don't get the same damsel in distress scenario. Now the women are fighting for themselves. They are bringing content for everyone. Radhika Apte, Sabita Pala, and Rasika Duggal, our very own Beena Tripathi. They have taken over the internet, and it's amazing to see women grow and evolve with such characters. And of course, talking about many revolutionary topics, we can't miss out LGBTQ. How LGBTQ is being talked about so openly, and how we are normalizing this. And as a youth, I believe that we need to talk about this, so that not only we can improve our previous generation, but we can also solve issues for our coming times and our offsprings. And let's talk about censorship and how censorship cuts out many scenes which they call it sexual and politically wrong, they which are cut out before they reach even the theaters. There was one such movie called Lipstick Under My Burqa, and I remember there were totally a total of 50 cuts before the movie reached the big screens. And I just think about how much content and how much relevant topics we missed out because of those cuts. And thankful for OTT, we don't have to, the filmmakers don't face such problems. We can openly talk about such things. Of course, seeing these on the screen when you're at home with your family watching something, an intense scene comes, you obviously have to pretend that you have to go to the washroom. But when you're watching this alone, you can learn about things. There's Netflix original series called Sex Education, where they openly talk about sex, and youth should know about these things, so they can be prepared for what's in their future. They can be protective of themselves, and they can be not only physically protected, they can be mentally protected. And OTT has given a chance, an opportunity, and a platform to talk about such topics openly, and I think that's wonderful for our future.
Would you mind if I add something to this?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
So by people will like who watching it might call me Dadaji, but there was a show which used to come on Sony television. It was aired on 2007. Ambar Dhara करके एक show था, and उसमें दो लड़कियां थी and their body parts were adjoined. So if अगर they go through the surgery, one might will die. So this was something I haven't seen anywhere. Like on the big screen, just forget about it. On the television, it was the first thing which I observed. Okay, some like it's a show about talking about a social, a cause about a disability or something which was out of the box, out of the usual which you see on daily soaps. So I think this was my first experience watching something out of the box, and to continue with that, I recently watched Nutcut on Voot. And I mean, like, there's one drawback of that also I face. I have to purchase the subscription. Like, so I already had Netflix and Prime, and now to watch an exclusive content, I have to pay extra for that. But it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. It's a 33-minute short film starring Vidya Balan and Sonika Patel. And she's an upcoming child artist, and she did a wonderful job in that short film. And it's about a male chauvinist male who dominates women, and in a rural area setting. And where, like, where a child is growing up watching his dad abusing her mother, and her mother is beautifully tells a story and says that, every time you're gonna make a mistake, it's gonna hurt me. And I first time I watched it, I was all in tears, and then I was like, I have to tell my mom or my family to sit together and watch this short film. And everybody was at the end was taking some deep thoughts within ourselves, like reflecting upon the society. And what what like it even it is 2021, but we still have these mindset and thoughts where push, like, where sticking us back. So these are the platforms and these are the movies which bring out the change in us. And thanks to OTT, it has done a great job, and it's promoting all sorts of movies. And because of there's not a lot of censorship, and so that we can talk about all these sensitive topics where the big cinema or big theaters fail to do so. Like, they do come up with the movies, but it's not very often. So they more focus on the entertainment aspect rather than bringing out the social change, which other mindset may think, like, people are dropping their brains at home and they want to enjoy this. So that could be somewhat true, but I think it's changing. And with our coming up generation, I think people are sitting over here can agree with me that we want something which will bring change in the society. We want to challenge those norms, we want to challenge those stereotypes, we want to challenge everything. And we want to question about all sorts of things. So these were my points to add it, and these were the thoughts I wanted to add to this. And if anybody wants, like, share their experience if they have anything out of the box. Okay.
In TV and movies, we also see the beeping because of the abusive scenes or abusives. But in OTT platforms, you don't see they normalize it. They can easily perform it. They can easily speak out what they want to. And there's not beeping because there's no need. People are paying for it, what they want to watch. People are, if they are paying, they already has to be 18 plus. And if even if they are not, it's normal in India, especially with this. And in foreign countries, even we don't see much beeps because it's normal for everyone. Because people used to speak up abusively. It doesn't create a unsophisticated area, you can say, but it's normal. We should also normalize it, as you all both have said about the censorship. It's gonna be an easy way if we look about in the future. People going to normalize this as soon, I think, in around 2025, people will normalize it. And maybe in TVs hours and cinemas, we might not see that much beeps in comparative to right now.
That's right, Aryan. And taking another question to Swastika, if you have to rate your experience of gaining knowledge and entertainment as a youngster, how much would you rate your experience out of 5? Like, do you really enjoy watching movies on OTT platform, or would you switch back to theaters when the situation is normal?
Well, I think we have all gotten into like a very comfortable and like luxurious today, and many of you and many of us are, one of our panelists are also very excited to watch it. She has her own tickets booked prior to the panel discussion, and uh, we are all very excited. So I don't think that if something comes up, like OTT is somewhat replacing the theater, but not completely, in my opinion. So because we don't want to miss out on the latest movie we are watching, of our favorite movie is coming and it's releasing, we're gonna book the ticket and watch the show and first day first show thing. But if we don't, on OTT it's eventually gonna come, I'm sure it's gonna come. But you're gonna get spoilers and that feeling of fear of missing out, FOMO. So yeah, I don't think that it's gonna replace some, but somewhat yes. So it's like a 50-50 situation in my opinion.
And one new thing is happening is drive-in cinemas are getting opened up. And basically the cinema is gonna experiment now, so to challenge OTT, because OTT has made its dominance. and thanks to COVID, it has made it like very prominent. Okay, I'm here, I'm gonna stay. So now it's your move. So cinema is saying, okay, we're gonna experiment now. We're gonna implement drive-in cinemas in India, and we will attract the youth of India to come and watch, like experience that. So when you create these sorts of new experiences, people will get attracted towards it. They might enjoy, they might not enjoy. It's gonna be the 50-50 thing, which will be seen in the future. But theater will try to come back. But if it's gonna do it successfully or not, the future will tell. So
So apart from blockbuster movies being streamed on theaters as well as now on OTT, what do you think is the place of regional content on OTT platforms?
I mean, very well said. So the last movie which I remember was in other language, and it made a huge impact, was KGF, and I watched it in Hindi. Sorry if I'm wrong. I think it was originally in Tamil, and I watched it in Hindi, and people were talking about it. Like it was boomed on social media. Like if I just open up my Facebook or Instagram, it was filled with the memes, and I could see, okay, I was actually missing out. Like why I'm not able to understand like what is happening, because maybe I was living under a rock at that time. But then my friend called me, was like, KGF chapter 1 है और हम चल रहे हैं देखने के लिए. मैंने कहा but कौन है, क्या hero है, and you know what will be there. And he's like, it's an amazing movie. He was going for the second time, and he just picked me up from my home, and he was like, okay. And when I saw the movie at that time, and I was like, oh wow. I mean, like my mind got blown. I was like, okay, so this has a potential. This has that, swagger. So I'm wearing the shirt just to copy that personality. But jokes apart, so this was the thing. And after that, like a recent Navras, another Tamil language, came to Netflix, and it is also available in other languages, and it's an anthology series. So you get to see 9 episodes, 9 emotion. Every episode has its own story, and it explains that emotion very beautifully. So you get to feel that, and it takes you. It's like a roller coaster. So just like an emotion like sadness, happy, and then you get angry. Lust, jealousy. So all of these are like a roller coaster going up and down, up and down. And throughout those 9 episodes, you feel that, and so that is that. And a regional thing, like because of OTT, it made it possible. Like earlier there was a theater and huge screen were like very typical about it, whether people gonna might come to the theaters and gonna see this, or they gonna like it or not. So OTT gives that freedom. You can bring out like intercultural things, and within a different languages. And for example, Jai Bhim, a recent super hit, like came on Prime, and it was originally shooted in Tamil language, and it is available in other 5 language. So I watched in Hindi, and it is a very well put together thought movie, and it also challenges our mindsets and how society work. And so that is another great example of cross cultural or regional movies coming to OTTs. And if I talk about internationally, my personal favorite from German, all the way from German, is Dark. And it's an absolutely mind bongers. Like you just you cannot if even you have to pee, you cannot just leave the screen, because you might think, oh no, if I'll just miss this one scene, I'll won't be able to guess like what the series gonna go. So that is that. And so I believe OTT has given us a huge platform to bring out all the countries, well, whether talk about internationally or like in a country wise, or so it has a like huge impact. And it was missing earlier in the theater scene. So
Yeah.
so OTT made it possible to have this.
Definitely.
I would also like to add, Nitin and Swastika put forward a great point. Nowadays, keeping up with the trends is so important, because you get this triggering thing in your mind that, okay, I'm missing out a lot. FOMO, like Swastika put it. I remember when Dark was released, or Squid Games came out. There were so many memes. Like social media, of course, is the main route of advertising any movie, any series. And I remember seeing multiple memes and thousands of posts, and my friends sharing all of them. And I was totally in the blank. I mean, what is happening? And that's how I started watching these shows. Dark, you was a big revelation. And recently Money Heist's final season came out, season 5, and we could see that just to promote this season, many of the Bollywood actors came forward. Ayushmann Khurrana was the main person from India. He was advertising the final season, and it the these shows don't have these shows have such a huge influence on others that people don't even imagine it. It's not only influential to a certain person or a certain individual. It's a great marketing strategy. I remember going to a cafe a few weeks ago, and it was all themed from Money Heist. The waiters were all dressed in the costumes of um, they were all dressed in the costumes, the red jumpsuits, and that's how they advertised the show. At the same time, they advertise their products. And these shows, these movies, these web series, they have a lot more influence on others than you can imagine.
Definitely, Tanishka. The influence of these series are hardly or mainly impacting us youth. And to conclude our session, I'm putting an open-ended question to our panelists. What do you think is the future of OTT media in country like India?
As I also said earlier, so OTT is gonna stay, and I believe it's gonna move in the if it's so the biggest problem with the OTT or biggest challenge for them is our sleep. So if somehow a pill got made up कि हमें नींद ही नहीं आएगी, तो I think हम पूरे दिन OTT देखते रहेंगे. So that is gonna happen, and to I think other platforms are also challenging thought कि how we can regain our audience, how we can regain our viewership. But in a true sense, now I have like my whole routine or my whole schedule, my whole life revolves around OTT, because it's very convenient and easy to go through that, because my phone, like, it's available on all my platforms, whether I watch it on laptop, whether I watch it on my PC or a phone or a tablet, so I can switch in between. So I even, like, I don't have to like press on a button to go back to that. It resumes where I stopped. Like if I stopped watching something on my one device, it continues there from the other. So that is like something which seamless, and it is like very natural. So getting out of that habit is going to be challenging, and I think OTT is the future, as if, like, if I project it from right now, because even the television, like television was such a huge thing, and daily soaps are coming to OTT. Like my mom is like watching hundreds of episodes on OTT, and I'm like, अरे तो फिर अब भूख लग रही है, तो वो कह रहे ऑर्डर करो बाहर से. तो मैंने कहा अरे ये तो मतलब मेरे को चैलेंज देने के लिए वाली तो, कि my mom is and I having this competition who can watch more episodes, but I'm sure she can do it, because in one of the episodes Chunni got stolen, and I was like, okay, so this is pretty interesting. so 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 that was that. And jokes apart, like for now I think OTT is gonna be the future, but challenges are coming in, and theater will try to rebound, or maybe some other platform or something else will emerge. But from my personal experience and what I can see a project is, OTT is going to be the future, and it's going to evolve with new additions to it.
I'd also like to add that OTT is now like streaming age classified content for everyone. So like for kids, there are kids material, and for like, as Nitin said, moms are watching, housewives are watching the famous show which is going Anupama on Hotstar, and the old show like Sara Bhai versus Sara Bhai is also like streaming on Hotstar, which was an old show which was used to come on television and is now coming on Hotstar. So in our house, like people are my family is also watching that, and also the sports matches are also streamed on Hotstar and Sony Live for cricket and Formula and football and whatnot. Like many sports events are covered on that. So I think OTT is gonna be the future, but I don't think that theater are gonna be replaced by OTT. Theater has its own relevance, and OTT has its own relevance.
Thought put forward the swastika, and I think this is all from our side. Over to you, Khushi. We are
Thank you,
ready.
Kirti. It was an interesting session. Now I request Ms. Shruti V.S., Assistant Professor, DM Media School, to conduct the Q&A session. Over to you, ma'am.
Oh, it was a very interesting panel discussion. I can see a lot of research both in terms of your viewing activity and the research and the readings you have done for the preparation of the OTT consumption by Indian youth has been put forward. And I can see also a lot of questions in the chat box here. So the first question which we have is from Gurveen Kaur. She is a first year student and she is asking you, what do you think about the alternate kind of stars coming like Radhika Apte, Rasika Duggal, Pratik Gandhi, Shefali Shah, Jitendra Kumar, etc. Also in the within the consumption pattern of the OTT.
They're getting a lot of recognition. Radhika Apte, like you specifically mentioned, they're getting a lot of getting a lot of recognition. We have seen in the mainstream cinema that actors, the Khan dominated or the Kapoor dominated industry, as they put it, uh, these actors couldn't really come forward. Actors such as Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Rajkumar Rao, all of our favorite actors, they have always started with small directors such as Anurag Kashyap. And I remember from an interview once, Sonam Kapoor said that such art films, their pictures are considered as art films. And she made a statement that art films are mostly given to these actors, the coming forward actors, whereas the mainstream cinema is just used for entertainment. And she believed that art film couldn't be handled by such big actors, the mainstream media actors. And I wouldn't exactly agree to it, but I believe that OTT and these art films have given way for many newcomers. And these newcomers, even if they couldn't get their way into the big cinema, seeing them on such platforms or on such stories is much more pleasing. I'm sure all of you wouldn't like to see Radhika Apte in Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum as much as you liked her in Andhadhun. So obviously, everyone has their specific type, and these actors look amazing on OTT.
Thank you, Tanishka. The next question is from Khushi Srivastav. She is asking, like you said, OTT is helpful in escaping reality, and she also feels the same. But do you think at the end it can become, really addictive? And do you people also suffer from this in your consumption activities?
Well, I agree to this thought. So it's like it's very it does not have a simple answer. So it depends on your like how you consume stuff. So for me, if it's an addiction and if it's benefiting me, like if I become something down the line in the production industry, so it is a beneficial thing for me. But if you are someone who is pursuing another kind of stream, or you are into a different field, and then you are putting your time watching films, and you feel like your time is not utilizing well, or it is sort of feel like waste or over consuming, then you might have to change your habits. But it is becoming a trend because of the peer pressure, your friends calling you, like calling you out, like have you seen this series or not, and watching the memes, and in order to get the reference, you have to watch those series to keep yourself updated. And that is where the part of addiction is getting on. So you start watching one thing and you binge watch, and late night you end up like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, okay, I need to get some sleep in order to get going in the next day. So it's a part of it's part of everything. Like addiction can become with any sort of thing. So it is more of like you have to control over it, and you have to channelize. So if you are like what your interests are, and what you want to consume, then you will consume only that part. And if you are a media person, then I mean, like, it's a good addiction to have. Like, you get to explore a lot. But if you are somewhere in the different line, then I might say just go for what you like, and stick to your interest space, so that it will only become as an entertainment and not an addiction. So I hope this answer your question. Khushi, was it right?
Yes. Okay, can we take some questions from the studio as well?
My question is that what is your perspective related to gender diversity, and your thoughts regarding that, how gender diversity touches it in a very sensitive manner?
Gender diversity, like I talked about, we are getting a lot of unfiltered content. Unfiltered content, as in gender is not only stuck to male, female. We are going gender fluid. Female are getting much more greater recognition. You can see, I mean, it's no secret that a male actor's career lasts longer than a female actor's career. A male, when he reaches his prime 50, is still doing action and romantic movies with much younger actresses, whereas actresses, as soon as they reach 40, are stuck to roles of mothers, or they mostly go and judge reality shows, which I think is very wrong, because we have some great actresses in this industry. And OTT platform, we see comebacks of many great actresses of old times. Ravina Tandon has come back yet again, and Rani Mukherjee with her series of Mardani. Mardani was a mainstream movie, but we saw Mardani 2 come back on OTT platform. Vidya Balan, all such actresses who were considered to be lost have made a comeback, and they have shown that okay, women's career also matches male career. We have Neena Gupta. Neena Gupta, who was considered the actress of her time, has come back. Of course, now she's getting motherly roles, but I think she is portraying them amazingly. And the representation of LGBTQ is also at its peak, because now I think the directors, the filmmakers, and the producers have understood that this generation, the youth, is not gonna sit behind the curtains, and we are ready to openly talk about such issues.
That OTT platform has plethora of content there. But what do you think about the overwhelming confusion youngsters face?
This is a very interesting question, and of course the amount of content that we are getting, at once we think okay, we are getting so much of options, we are getting too much to see, but it gets overwhelming at times. Not only content, you have so many different platforms. You have your Netflix, you have your Amazon, you have your Hotstar, you have your Z5. And the thing, this marketing strategy is such that one film which is available on Netflix, you won't find it on Prime. So if I have Netflix subscription and I want to watch something which is available on Prime, I have to go ahead and purchase Prime also. So at this is one loophole, that where does it end? Because I can't just go around buying subscriptions, and I know that I will end up watching only 5% of it, because I, as a student, have don't have that much time on my hand to filter out all of this platforms that I have. And I remember my family and I, we have this tradition since I was a little girl, that every weekend we would sit down and watch a movie. Earlier, it was without OTT platforms. I can easily say that it was easier, because we would just catch up on a movie which was, playing on TV that weekend, or we would just download a picture which came out that weekend. But now we have so many options, so we just spend half of the time, half of the night, we just spend surfing Netflix or Prime to look for a movie, and then we realize that okay, it's past our bedtime, and now then we have to go back to sleep without getting any entertainment. So that is one of the major drawbacks and loopholes of getting too much options.
Um, Hi. We have discussed a lot of advantages, I feel, about the whole OTT consumption. But what, according to you, is maybe a disadvantage of?
Swastik, I guess you will be the right person to answer this. I think as much as the advantages are there on OTT and like the convenience they provide the customer, there are also many disadvantage or drawbacks, we can say, that OTT offers. Now, as Tanishka said, the marketing strategy they have, like if a particular movie is on Netflix and I want to watch it, but I have the subscription of Prime, I don't have the that much, pocket money or something to watch like that. I'll buy every OTT platform and watch everything, because I don't have that much time to like watch every OTT and consume everything and like use my money. And so that's one drawback. Not really, but yes. And also the sleeping habits is also affected with the emergence of OTT and consumption we do. with the and COVID times, I was like not very like not a binge watcher, but after COVID struck in and we had like too much time, I spent almost all my nights watching OTT and series and binge watching the repeated show, because I am like a binge watcher, not really in watching new content. But sometimes I do if I think that it's really nice. So I think there are many drawbacks, but right now I think I can say this only.
Thanks a lot, Swastika, for covering this question so perfectly. And I can completely agree to all of you that OTT has its own banes and boon, and it is a personal choice or how we deal with the advantages being presented by OTT platform. And I guess it was indeed a great session and panel discussion. Over to you, Khushi.
Thank you, Kirti. Now I request Professor Dr. Susmita Bala, Head DME Media School, to give the concluding remarks.
Thank you, Khushi. And thanks to all panelists. बहुत अच्छा session किया. Thank you everyone present here. Very nice and interesting session. It's amazing to listen you who are mostly hidden behind the closed windows of Zoom in classes. We are talking about OTT, which is an internet-based platform. We take classes on Zoom or Google Meet, which are again internet-based. But after listening you all in this panel discussion, in this physical space, I am of the view that no technology can replace an activity happening in the physical space. Yes, regarding OTT content, I must tell you all that I am fond of OTT. I watch all new releases, feature film, web series, and this week only, despite so much work pressure, I watched Bob Vishwas. और उससे पहले मैंने बहुत सारी OTT पे फिल्म्स देखी थी, जैसे आश्रम, धाकड़, मिमी, थलाइवी, और अभी डायल 100 मैंने देखा. बॉब विश्वास के पहले धमाका भी देखा. बहुत अच्छी. और so it means कि OTT provide lots of content to viewers who is not interested to go outside. क्योंकि web series, short film, full films, everything is available on OTT. So yes, you are right. OTT का future है. OTT का future रहेगा. हम थिएटर में फिल्म देखने जाएं या ना जाएं, लेकिन जैसा अभी इन लोगों ने पैनल ने डिस्कस किया कि हाँ, हाउसवाइफ्स के लिए भी इम्पोर्टेंट है, बट जो वर्किंग है उनके लिए भी बहुत बोन है ये कि हम घर में बैठ के अगर जब भी हमारे पास टाइम है और जितना टाइम है उसको हम कंज्यूम कर सकते हैं, उसके हिसाब से देख सकते हैं. अगर हाफ एन आवर का टाइम है तो यू कैन वॉच हाफ एन आवर, देन नेक्स्ट डे हाफ एन आवर. बट इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सेशन. सो थैंक यू, थैंक्स टू ऑल ऑफ यू. बहुत अच्छा सेशन किया. कीर्ति, तनिष्का, आर्यन, नितिन एंड स्वस्तिका. Thank you. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Ms. Shruti V.S., Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to give the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
I would like to extend my immense gratitude to the management of DME. Without the support of Mr. Aman Sahni, Vice Chairman, DME, Honorable Justice Banwar Singh, Director General DME, and Dr. Ravikant Swami, Director DME, the CIFI 2021 would not have been come this far. I also thank them for this wonderful opportunity and the resources they have given us. I'm thankful to Dr. Amrit Saxena, Dean DME Media School, Festival Director CIFI, Dr. Vikrant Kishore, Festival Director, Dr. Sushmita Bala, Head DME Media School and Chief Associate Festival Director, for their constant guidance and encouragement at every step. I thank our student body of DME Media School, SPARK, that is students with positive attitude and resonating communication. I want to thank our jury members, Mr. Nimish Kapoor, Mr. Murtaza Ali, Ms. Supriya Suri, Mr. Pankaj Rakesh, for patiently and fairly watching all the movies and giving their precious time and feedback. A special note of thanks to our panelists who are there, our students of DME Media School, Kirti Mathur, Tanishka Tiwari, Nitin Gupta, Swastika Mishra, and Aryan Kuti, and our anchor, Khushi Chaudhary. Thanks to our faculty members, Ms. Manmeet Kaur, Ms. Mudita Raj, Dr. Manasi Maheshwari, Dr. Teenam Bora for their efforts and constant support, Dr. Krishna Pandey, Mr. Pramod Pandey, Mr. Mohammad Kamil for media coverage, Mr. Sachin Nayak, Mr. Sumantra Das, Mr. Yogesh Sharma, Mr. Vishal Sahai for technical and digital operations, Mr. Anmol Mehta for designing, and Mr. Abhishek Yadav for IT support. I also extend my thanks to the student team of CIPI who tirelessly work and they have despite all challenges and obstacles of pandemic, they have made this festival possible and happen. I thank all the participants who have submitted their creative pieces and who are also joined us in studio, in the chat, in Zoom, and on Facebook Live. Thank you for attending the session. The next session of the day is panel discussion on Mr. Dilip Kumar, a legend, and his milestones. It will be started at 11:30. Hope to see you all in the next session. Thank you so much.